welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about acids and acid exfoliation. Now, a few years ago, or I shouldn't say a few years ago, it was a while, it was many years ago. It was right around the time that I turned 30. I started having really bad breakouts along my chin, hormonal breakouts, acne, cystic acne, painful acne. And I had never had acne growing up. I had never dealt with acne. So this was completely new to me. I tried a lot of things and nothing really seemed to work until an esthetician mentioned that I should try glycolic acid. So that is what I did. I started using a toner, I think at the time by DDF, and it was just their glycolic toner. I used that and I really saw amazing progress in my skin. It really helped contain the acne. It helped with the blemishes. It helped with future breakouts. But I was using this glycolic acid like every day. When I turned around 35, 36 and started dealing with redness, I started kind of assessing that maybe the glycolic acid was some of the problem because I was using it daily, and I kind of took a look at what I was using and took a step back. Also, that's when I realized I really could not use any other exfoliation, like a manual exfoliator. I realized that I felt like the Clarisonic was some of my problem with the redness. I felt like it was breaking down my skin barrier. And so I stopped completely using the Clarisonic, and I stopped completely using any kind of scrubs or anything with a texture on my skin. And then I started looking at what I should do to exfoliate my skin, and acids were definitely at the top of the list of what I should be using. So I started with reincorporating acids into my skincare, but not overdoing it. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is kind of what I do, how I incorporate acids into my skincare routine, and which ones I like, what I follow them up with, and what I feel like works for my skin. Now, again, I'm not an esthetician. This is strictly what I have found has worked for me. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so let's get started. So there's three main types of acids. There's lactic, there is glycolic, and there is salicylic. Now, I don't really use a lot of salicylic because I don't deal with acne. The main two that I use are lactic and glycolic. Now, glycolic is more to smooth your skin and smooth fine lines and make your skin, it's more of an anti-aging type product, where lactic is more of a brightening type acid. So those are the two that I kind of like to switch between because I need both of those in my life. Let's be honest. I need something in my life to smooth any lines that I have, and then I need something to work on my hyperpigmentation. So I switch interchangeably between the two. Now, I have two acids that I reach for that I find to be more on the gentle side. And when I mean more on the gentle side, I mean they are backed up with things like aloe, witch hazel, things that actually soothe my skin. So those are the two that I can use more often. And then I have one that is what I consider the bomb diggity of acids. And it is, it is the Cadillac. I think Caroline Hirons calls it the Cadillac. It is the big mama jama of acids. So let's talk about each one of those. So the first one, as far as glycolic goes, is of course the Pixi Glow Tonic exfoliating toner. And this is just the original. They have the Pixi pads, they have the to-go ones, they have the ones that are 10% glycolic acid, I think. This is just 5%. But it does have aloe in it, and I have found that this one works best for me. Now, because I have sensitive skin, a lot of times the pre-soaked pads, the actual texture of the pads themselves, my skin doesn't like. That irritates my skin. What I have found is that if I get a bottle like this, I get the actual product in a bottle and have to put it on a cotton round, and I use the Shiseido cotton rounds, which if you can see, this is just a small pack that I picked up at Sephora. They come in bigger sizes, but these are the cotton squares. They are a little bit on the pricier side, but you can cut them in half. And I have just found that my skin likes this. They're very soft, they don't have a texture, and my skin doesn't mind them. So the better way for me to go about using an acid is to put this on this and then put it all over my face. So this is one of my favorite ones. I can use this morning or night. I do try to only use acid about 2 to 3 times a week. I just find that my skin responds better like this, but this is gentle enough that you probably could use it more often, but for me, I have found that's what works best for me. Now, this is glycolic, so if you're wanting something gentle but lactic, my favorite is the January Labs, and this is the January Labs Skin Essentials Daily Brightening Tonic, and this is a lactic acid toner. Now, this also has aloe in it. It also has witch hazel in it. And I'm not sure if this one has witch hazel in it. Yes, it does. This has witch hazel. This has witch hazel. My skin likes witch hazel. A lot of times if you're suffering from redness, witch hazel will help with that, or at least it helps with me. So both of these contain aloe. Both of these contain witch hazel, but each one of them contains a different acid. So I like to use both of them because I feel like I'm getting what I need from the glycolic with this one. I'm getting what I need from the lactic with this one. But yeah, this one is gentle too. You can use it, I find that I can use it morning or night, but again, I only like to use an acid 2 or 3 times a week. I just feel like that's what works best for my skin. Now, the last acid that I have in my rotation is, of course, and I will always have in my rotation, the Lotion P50, and this is the 1970s version. This is the Cadillac of acid exfoliation. Its main ingredient is lactic acid. It has very few other ingredients in it. It does make my skin go a little pink. It does make my skin tingle, but the next day my skin looks great. I say that I use this if I want to glow the next day because I feel like this causes me to glow. Now, of course, P50 is not the easiest thing to get. It's not like running into Target and picking this up or jumping on January Labs website and picking this up. But you can get it from Tosca Spa, and I will link that information down below, or at least I will try to. But yeah, this one is just really great. It has a kind of odd smell to it. Yeah, it's a smell that I don't really love, but that's the phenol in it. So, but yeah, the results that I get from this are great, and I will continue to repurchase it. Now, I don't use it regularly. I probably don't even use it every week, but when I feel like my skin needs that extra exfoliation, this is what I reach for. Let me go back and talk about scents. The Glow Tonic smells great. It smells kind of citrusy, fresh, and I don't think the January Labs really has a scent. It really doesn't. It's not offensive, but it's kind of unscented. So what I would do is I would cleanse my skin, first cleanse, second cleanse, go in with an acid, and then what I like to follow up with is some kind of mist that is soothing. The mist that I usually would reach for to be soothing or something like May Lindstrom, the Jasmine, this is the Jasmine Garden. I love this one. I think this one is beautiful, especially on top of something like P50, something that's a little more strong. I feel like this kind of goes in and counters that and just kind of soothes the skin. Another one that I have found is great is Jordan's Mist. I like to spray it in my hand and just pat it on my face. He has come out with a newer mist that's called the Gentler Mist. So that's, I know a lot of people have been complaining that this really just kind of knocks you out. But this is another one that is great to follow up after an acid. I also like for the rest of my routine to be not so intense. So like I wouldn't follow up an acid with a retinol, and not even with a retinol oil. I would follow up with some more kind of soothing type products. For example, Jordan's Hydrate Serum. This is a great serum to follow up after an acid. Another thing that is new to me, but that would be great to follow up after an acid would be the 10% Niacinamide Booster by Paula's Choice. This is great. You also don't even really have to go in with a serum if you don't want to. You could follow up with an intense moisturizer like the Kate Somerville Deep Tissue Repair. This is one of my favorite moisturizers for nighttime, and this is great to put on after an acid exfoliation. It just kind of seals everything in. Another thing I like to do, one of my favorite routines, after I go in with the Lotion P50 and then I mist my skin with the May Lindstrom the Jasmine Garden, I can never remember that name, the Jasmine Garden. I then like to just finish it off with Vintner's Daughter and nothing else. I feel like this combo is just really good, and you talking about waking up with some serious glow the next morning. It's great. Another thing to follow up an acid with is a nice balm like May Lynchner's Blue Cocoon or Josh Rosebrook's balm. That's another way to kind of finish up the night and seal everything in together. So yeah, that's kind of my take on acids. I know this video wasn't very long, but I just wanted to tell you kind of what I do, what I have found works for me. Now, in the past, between about November and I guess January, you saw that I was using the Naturbase Glyco Peel, the Glyco line, the Glyco Extreme Peel, and I really enjoyed using that. It was a product that you put on your skin and you leave it on for a few minutes and then you take it off. So as I was using that, I really wasn't using these quite so much. But now that I'm out of that product, I'm back to using these and I couldn't be happier. I loved the Glyco line. That was great. I would definitely consider repurchasing, but it's very pricey. It probably costs more than all three of these products together. So yeah, I just really think you can't go wrong with any of these. And I'm not saying you have to run out and buy all of these. You could definitely pick one, try it out, see what your skin likes. Some people's skin doesn't like glycolic acid. Some people's skin doesn't like lactic acid. My skin actually doesn't like lactic acid in certain forms. Like I tried to use Sunday Riley's Good Genes and I just found my skin really didn't like Sunday Riley, but my skin does like these lactic acids. So it's just kind of trial and error. You have to figure out what works for you. And what works for me may not work for you, but I was just going to give you a tip if you're having some problems or if you're scared to dive into them. I have redness, I deal with rosacea, and I can use these fine. So don't be afraid of it just because it says acid. I think you will find that if you do deal with sensitivity, you are much better off exfoliating with an acid than with any kind of harsh abrasion. And you are much better off using an acid than using something like a Clarisonic. I don't want to get on my Clarisonic soapbox, but I am pretty sure that I feel like the Clarisonic was part of the cause of my redness and did so much damage to my skin that I'm still actually recovering from. So if you have any questions about that, put them down below. I will try to go into it. And if you have any questions about any of the products I mentioned or acid exfoliating, please let me know. I will try to answer them. And as always, I hope that you all are having a fantastic day and a great week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.